Hey, Sandcar BS crew, Conrad here with our mascot, Ozzy. Ozzy's not really having it today. No kisses? Kisses. Oh, he's giving me kisses. Okay, go play. We love our dogs here at Sandcar by Sal. So I wrote some stuff down. Let me get to business. Opening, Sandcar by Sal crew, Conrad here with our mascot, Ozzy. I got through that. Now, if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and supporting our work via Patreon. The mission statement of Sandcar by Sal is to entertain and to educate. You'll find both on today's classified ad review coupled with Sandcar history. Yes, I wrote that all down because I keep getting out of sorts and I keep having to redo this. So without further ado, let's jump into this classified ad review as well as some Sandcar history. Before I do that, I did borrow some photos. So I want to give a shout out to Old School Sandcars because on his Instagram page, there is some fantastic Sandcar history. I highly recommend that you join his group as well as log into oldschoolsandcars.com and buy his swag. He's got t-shirts and hats and sometimes has parts available to support his venture in this as well because he's just doing this out of the love of his heart, right? He also has Mike Mazzone's old jigs as well as a lot of parts. So if you're currently running a Mazzone car, consider hitting him up if you need replacement parts, right? That ties right in to what we're doing today as far as this long travel two-seater. Now, before I get into this classified ad review, I want to share with you a little bit of Sandcar history, something that I'm very passionate about and kind of where I think I see this industry going as far as the sand dunes, Glamis, specifically these sand cars. Now, I grew up going to Glamis, a handful of times to Dumont, also Pismo Beach for all you folks, Oceano. I was actually able to go to Devil's Slide before all that was closed off back when I was a kid. But I grew up in the hot rod world, lead sleds, choppers, and Volkswagens. Yes, I tended to gravitate towards the Volkswagen scene, and I've had a handful in my life, and I still love them. They're still fantastic cars. So enough about Conrad's history, and let's jump into why I think we're kind of going to the Sandcar collectible market. I'm going to start with this. Now, what would you say? Conrad, why are you showing me a Volkswagen? This is a Sandcar site, and I concur. This is the Schley brothers, right? Let me take these down because I can't see my screen right in front of me. Here we go. This is the Schley brothers. They campaigned this Lightning Bug drag racer back in the late 70s through the 1980s. And then when Suspensions Unlimited released their absolutely amazing long travel cars back in the, the late 90s or the early 2000s, they built up a two-seat mid-engine. I think it was Type 4 powered. I can't recall, but it is the Schley brothers with the Lightning Bug, and they called this one the Lightning Buggy. Right? Collectible. Moving on. Let's get these pictures off of here. Let's move over to this one. I remember getting Sand Sports Magazine, or maybe it was Hot VW Sand Special, something along those lines with Billy Ruff with Sandrail Manufacturing with this car on the cover. I couldn't find the photo. I just stopped digging for it. In that this is like 125 wheelbase, twin turbocharged V8, 5-link, long travel sand dragger. And I was just like, and he's doing this wheel stand, right? He's on the cover and he's just on the back end. He's just going, I'm like, oh, I don't know where this car is now. I haven't seen it for years. But again, it's another car that I want. One day, maybe it'll come out for sale and I'll be able to grab it. How about this one? Yes, Blue Thunder. Everybody who's anybody in the sand car industry knows of Blue Thunder. This car was one of the fastest cars at the hill back in the day. So there's another collectible car. Conrad, what would make you think these cars are so collectible? How about this one? This car came up for sale on the Samba, thesamba.com. If you're ever looking for Volkswagen parts or if you're looking for sand buggy parts, go to thesamba.com. That's one of the places that I dig for stuff. This car was on there about 5 years ago for, I think it was about $3,500. And I'm like, I want it. Just like all the other buggies I showed you. But I'm not a sand drag guy, so I was like, nah, I don't know. Anyway, I should have. But let me drag this picture over. Why is this important? Why is this car important? Well, here it is, right? Here it is restored. Do you know who owned this car? Corey McClenathan, something like that. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. But this car was called Mack Attack. Yes, the Top Fuel drag racer, Corey Mack, was also a sand drag racer, and this was his car. This fella purchased it, restored it, and then what did we just have recently? We're in February of 2022. At the end of last month was the Grand National Roadster Show in Pomona. They had a building completely set aside for Volkswagens and the Volkswagen industry. Everybody at the Volkswagen scene, like the car scene, was there. I didn't attend, but I have gone through the photos of the people that were there, right? This car right here, Mack Attack, was invited to the Grand National Roadster Show. So sand cars were being represented. Tells me again, these are collectible. So let's pull this off. And let's get tied back into, oops. Who's this? Mike Mazzone. This is Mike Mazzone in the 1990s doing a wheel stand in a carbureted VW car, which is amazing, mid-engine wheel stand. Now, of course, this is an aluminum chassis, but Mike is an absolute craftsman, and he built some amazing machines. Part of the thing you'll notice is the cutouts in the rear wheels that match the CNC disc brakes. He would also drill out the front wheels and insert tube through, right? And then weld up the holes so they weren't just opened up. His pedal assemblies, he would run the hydraulics underneath the floor instead of having him sit up top. This guy's just an absolute genius with metalwork, and he built some absolutely amazing cars. Pardon me. Why did I say that he built some absolutely amazing cars? Because he passed away. So not only was he an amazing craftsman, but he was also a enthusiast of flying. He had a Cessna that he used to run out in Glamis, and we've got to see some fantastic footage of the stuff that he shot while flying over Glamis. And he would give rides as well. So unfortunately, during a takeoff out of Boardmanville, apparently it's like I did a little bit of research on it. He had a backwind, and as he was taking off, the plane stalled and dropped about 300 feet or so and crashed into the ground, and he was killed. His passenger that he was taking on a ride did survive with some significant injuries, and it's been years since I've heard her story or what has happened with her. Best wishes to her and the family. I hope everything's on the up and up. I'm not sure, but that's just one of those, just a bad deal where Mike crashed, and it unfortunately killed him and hurt a passenger. And let me sneeze. Yeah, we're in COVID season, but I already had it. Moving on. Okay, so let's get Mike's. Oh, you know what I do want to mention, though, is this transmission. When I saw it in this picture when I was doing research, I happened to see this transmission at the Old School show in Yuma a few months ago. I think it might have been mounted in this car, actually. I'm going to have to hit Josh up and ask him because there's not too many that are done with the blue and the white. But it's extra details, right? So let's jump into this. Now, I've shared with you a little bit of sandcar history, and one of the reasons why I'm geeking out on this particular roller, because this is a brand new, it's new old stock Mike Mazzone long travel. It has to be one of the last ones that he built. So he keeps the overall design of the Mazzone style. The nose is a little bit different. I love these front noses. It's pokey, right? Pokey. Let's take a look. How rack and pinion, look at this. Laser cut Mazzone sand cars, which you're branding the car. Look at his welds. Again, I love the nose of this car. We've got double shears. It's just a quality machine. Here's a really good view of the 5-link that's on this. We've got a single coil over shock. Now remember, this is from back in the day, so we don't even have piggyback reservoirs on these. These aren't double bypasses and triple bypasses and all that stuff. This is a legit sand car. I'm a sand car guy. And don't get me wrong, I love the big cars with the big V8s and the whole 9 yards, but they tend to be so heavy, right? They're like off-road race cars with a set of sand tires bolted on. I'm a sand car guy. This is a true, legit, long travel sand car. See what else we got. Spindle mounts. Again, you guys know that I love running the spindle mount front wheels and no power steering. It is tabbed for a Mendeola, as well as a Subaru. So it's already tabbed. I mean, these are the types of cars that I like to buy because they're almost built. You just get to make it yours. He also mentions in his ad here that he has got a Mendiola set up already for the mid-engine for an extra $6,000. That is a bargain. And the reason why is it's February of 2022. Right now, getting transmission parts, getting Mendiolas built, getting any transmission built, swing axles for goodness sake, type 1s, you know. Parts are very hard to come by because the world has come to this standstill and now we're trying to get back to some sense of normalcy. So you could literally have this car built before the end of this season is out. If I own this, I would grab this whole chassis kit, this roller, and his Mendiola, and then I'd go see this guy. Here, let me pull this picture over. Who's this handsome guy right here? If you know, you know. That is John Rykowski standing in front of one of his turbocharged 4-cylinder Subaru engines. Because this car, you grab the car, you grab his transmission, you hit John up for a Subaru. I mean, we're almost there, right? And then on top of that, go have some tin work done. Which I asked a while back who does tin work in Phoenix, and I didn't get a response. So I'm not sure who in Phoenix does it. If you're in California, I know a handful of shops to go to get that done. But you do your branding, right? You put your side panels on, and what do you get to do? You get to name your car. Now, of course, Mike has Mazzone on his. We're going to go over here, and we're going to have... Oops, let me drop that picture back down. Drag this over. We've got Mac Attack. Get that one out of the way. What do we got? Blue Thunder, right? Again, this is just this was branded, I think, Sandoral Manufacturing. I couldn't find the side shot of that car. And then we have the Lightning Buggy, right? So you have the opportunity to not only get a great deal on a brand new long travel classic Sandrail, but you also get to brand it as your own, whatever it is that you want to name it. So these cars are absolutely fantastic. They handle really well, and you put some high horsepower on them. I mean, we're talking wheel stands, whoop-de-doos, as fast as you want to go. It's just a great all-around machine. So if you have any additional comments that you want to share about Mike Mazzone, this particular chassis kit, any of the Sandcar history that I shared, feel free to leave some comments in this. This is just going to help us grow the YouTube channel, and it's going to help me to, me and actually Kevin, who's the admin of our group, to go forward and start making some more content from the dunes, so on and so forth. So feel free to leave some content in here. Subscribe to our channel, please, so we can start to blow this up and we can make this even better than it already is. So otherwise, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the dunes. Stop recording.